Hey everyone, it's been cold out, real cold. Wanted to show you guys how the furnace has been keeping up. So recently we had a lot of cold weather come in. Cold weather, 6 degrees with lots and lots of wind. We've had 50-mile-per-hour winds at certain points, and I've been out in the garage just working. So I just wanted to give you a little update here on how the furnace has been working out, and with a little bit more insulation I got installed, how that's been helping. So currently I've been keeping it around 56 when I'm out here working. That's, kind of, I call it a hoodie type temperature for me. Now, if I'm climbing up and down the ladder, I'll turn it down even more than that. But I'll put a little screenshot up here in the corner. But, our current temperature is 10 degrees. And we are under wind chill advisory, too, through the night. So, 56 degrees out here isn't too bad. What's interesting, though, is even though it's 56 degrees up here in the front, that's closest to the big doors, of course. I'll show you the thermostat back here. Well, I guess it's a thermometer, but I'll show you what the actual back of the garage looks like. So back here towards the back, I do have that one 8x8 door, but it is closer to the furnace. So we're actually, you can see that, 61 degrees. Now, if I go up here in the loft, I bet you it's at least 63 degrees. So that little furnace is putting out some heat in this building. Again, it's a 1,700 square foot building. So pretty impressive. It's an 80,000 BTU furnace. I think it's roughly putting out 60,000 BTUs. So there's definitely a lot of wasted heat. But it's still keeping up, so I'm pretty impressed. And I wanted to show you some interesting things that I've been discovering as I'm insulating some more of these walls, trying to find some of the leaks, some of the air leaks, and the differences in the temperatures. So the first thing I wanted to show you is the garage floor itself. Again, it's 10 degrees outside. Garage floor is roughly 54 degrees. So very close to the 56 degree set temperature. So that's not bad. Let's see what the wall temperatures are over here. See where we're at. So we're 59, well, almost 60 degrees right there, 60 degrees on the walls. So the walls are heating up. But as we move forward here, it's gonna get probably a little bit colder. See, 57. Yeah, we're getting closer to the man door, so that makes sense. But here's a big one that I discovered, and these are 12-foot doors. Pretty tall doors. But if I put this right here where the weather seal or strip is, look at that. It's 30 degrees, 38, 30. I'm kind of see if I can get in there a little bit better. Roughly 30 degrees right there. But because this door is so big, there's a huge gap in here. Let me show you what I mean. And I can feel air coming in here. If I push on this just slightly, let's see if I can do it down here. You can see the door move. Hopefully you can see that. So the door's moving like I wouldn't say half of an inch, definitely a quarter of an inch. And it's like that all the way up. So I have a solution I'm working on for that. I'll put that out in another video, but I think that's a majority of my air coming in the front of this garage. Obviously I don't have it all the way insulated yet, but being such a big gap in two of these doors, I think that's like opening a big window when you have that big of a gap between your weather seal. And I don't, you know, these seals were never designed to, you know, be super tight or anything like that. But again, I think I have a solution for that, and I'm going to try it out. Because I do notice, you know, if I were to put this here for an extended period of time and watch that temperature, it should start to climb. And all I'm doing is pushing down on the door right now. But you can see, I'll give it a few seconds here. There's 32. Yeah, it's pretty hard to push down on there, but I'll show you guys what I mean once I get my solution here ordered. Let's show you the back of the door here. That's 54 degrees. That's not bad. I mean, that's a pretty good insulated door for 54 degrees on the back side. I'm pretty happy with that. Now it fluctuates depending on where you put it, but even at 50 degrees, being that it's so cold out, that's not bad at all. Let's see the camper here. Oh, we're at 57 there, so that's really good. Let's go over to the far corner here. This is this would be the furthest corner away from the furnace or the heat. Let's see where we're at here. So 53. Let's try it on the board here. There we go, 54. So that's pretty good. Circulating all the way back in the furthest corner here. And I'll show you what I mean up here in the loft. The loft should be a lot warmer. And that's the trouble with tall buildings, is just trying to get this heat down. So let's see what this wood here is right behind. Yeah, 50, 58. So I knew it would be a few degrees. I'm surprised it's not warmer than that. Oh, there we go. 60, 59. Let's get a little closer up here by the heater here. 60, 59. Definitely fluctuates. 57. So this fan does a pretty good job, I think, of circulating a lot of this air. Let's do the ceiling. Let's see what that is. 60 degrees. So that's about 4 degrees warmer at the ceiling. That's not bad. I mean, it's definitely pushing it down. One thing I did notice though is, or that I need, I should say, is that front fan. I think that front fan will make a big difference. Once I get that front fan installed, it'll help push a lot of that heat down towards the front. And that's kind of where the thermostat's at. So I definitely need it up there. So far, the Big Maxx is working out pretty good for me. It's definitely keeping it warm. Now, could I get in the 60s towards the front of the garage? Maybe. It's so cold outside. I mean, the furnace would definitely be running for a while to keep it that temperature. You know, there's a couple things, like I said, I'm working on. Hopefully seal some more of that air. 60 is pretty warm though. I mean, I usually don't work in that warm of a temperature. I'd just be sweating, or, you know, probably maybe be in a t-shirt for sure. But you can always go a little bit bigger on the furnace to compensate. You know, if you wanted it in the 60s all the time, you could definitely bump the furnace up. Would you have higher gas usage? Oh, absolutely. It's a bigger BTU furnace then at that point. And, you know, this being my first year of heating a garage this size, I want to see what the usage is like on this furnace and determine if I really, really need it. I've been out here an awful lot lately, so it's been running during the day quite a bit, and we'll see what the bill ends up being. But the only other issue, it's not really an issue. It's sort of maybe it was my mistake on the wall that I chose to put the furnace on, but there's a lot of wind that happens. Well, just wind in general. Where we live, we're very open, no trees or anything to block it. So that's a big problem. And when I say a big problem, what happens on very windy days, and I'm talking maybe 30 miles per hour or greater, is when I really see it happening. But the furnace, it does shut off a lot. And I think what's happening is there's a pressure switch in there, and it's tripping that. And it's just because it's getting that backflow back in, or it's not able to push it out hard enough. I'm not exactly sure which, but I'm talking the exhaust. And it's a safety feature, which I'm glad it's working, but I think it's just a little bit too sensitive, especially on windy days. I did some research on that. I saw a few other people have very similar problems, and sometimes you're very limited on where you can put your furnace. And in my case, I really wanted it against that back wall. I didn't want to see the exhaust from the house as far as the pipe sticking out the side. I could have maybe gone out the other side. That might have helped a little bit. I'm not quite sure yet, but I have a solution I'm working on that, and I ordered a couple of parts, and I'll post a separate video on that too and what I'm doing. But it's really, I mean, my biggest problem is, I have a T out there, and if you watch my other video on the install, that T works great, except it just lets a lot of air in, which it's supposed to. It's supposed to let a lot of air out, but unfortunately the reverse of that is it lets it back in as well. So again, I have a couple parts I've ordered for that, and hopefully I'll get those soon, and I'll make a video on that and show you guys, my thoughts and if it does anything at all. I'm gonna wrap this video up. This was a short one. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the furnace and how it's been doing through the winter. We're about middle of January. Coldest part of the winter, hopefully, is upon us. So far, I've been pretty happy with it. It was an inexpensive furnace, so my expectations were pretty low to begin with. But it's kind of exceeded those expectations, honestly. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Thanks for joining me today. If you guys like this kind of stuff, go ahead and give me a like, and be sure to subscribe, and check out some of my other videos while you're at it. Thanks, everyone.